The harvest has begun. The harvest. It has begun. Hello everyone. Hi, how are you guys doing? Welcome to another episode of a Buffy the Vampire Slayer reaction. This is Haarute Live, and my name is Matt. Hello. Okay, so last time we started this show, and I don't know for how long we're going to be doing this, but we're doing it. We got introduced to our cast of characters, at least to a couple of them. So we got to meet Buffy, a troubled teenager vampire slayer who wants to be a teenager, but she can't because she's a vampire slayer. That's the oversimplification of it. And she's struggling with all the issues that come along the idea of not being able to form relationships with people. Sure, there we go. That character immediately set from episode 1. We got to meet this guy, Sander. I think that's his name. He looks 30, but he's supposedly 16. Sure. We got to meet Willow, who is, I'm still assuming, everyone's favorite character. Definitely mine. She's awesome. She's a loser and I love her. We got to meet the librarian dude who is a watcher or whatever. He knows a lot, sure. And then there was that other guy, the other guy, the guy who looks like he's gonna die because he already got bitten. Jimmy, whatever, that guy. He might survive, and then I'll learn his name. But there we go. And then there's also like the school bully, the girl who's like trendy and shit, and I don't know. That's all the characters I remember. Oh yeah, there was okay. So on the vampire side, at least I'm guessing they're vampires. We had that one guy who looks, what was his name? It was something that didn't fit. Like a cool guy name, but he looks like... The monsters look weird because they look funny. That's what they look like. They look like Saturday morning cartoon villains, which I suppose that's what they are. That guy managed to like summon like Voldemort or whoever, you know? They were like, oh yes, Dark Lord, the harvest is almost at night. And it's like, yes, I want food. And they were like, yes, we will bring you food. And that was what happened previous episode. Yeah, that was pretty much it. It was just like figuring out what was going on, and then it ended on like a crazy dumb cliffhanger where that guy, he was fighting Buffy, and it looks like he like won, and he like was on top of her, and he was like gonna bite her or something, and that was the end of the episode. So we'll see what happens in this episode, I suppose. I think that's pretty much it for the recap. So anyway, make sure to check out the Patreon if you want to watch the next 2 episodes in early access and full-length reactions, or if you just want to support the channel, that would be super cool of you. If not, that's totally fine. Let's just watch this episode. So, alright, let's begin. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Season 1, Episode 2. Let's go.
Where's Jesse?
I don't know. They surrounded us.
That girl grabbed him and took off.
Which way?
I don't know.
Jesse.
It's funny that they were like, oh my god, Jesse. I can't believe Jesse's in trouble. And I'm just like, that guy looked like the most throwaway character. The possibility of him just dying and everyone's gonna be like, oh my god, I can't believe they killed Jesse. And I'm just like, I can't believe it actually. He's not in the intros though.
For untold eons, demons walked the earth.
Lore? Okay.
But in time, they lost their purchase on this reality.
How?
The way was made for mortal animals, for man.
Okay, this is where I have a problem. See, because we're talking about vampires. We're having a talk with vampires in it.
I need to sit down.
You are sitting down.
Oh, good for me.
Oh my god.
And so they walked the earth, feeding, killing some, mixing their blood with others to make more of their kind, waiting for the animals to die out and the old ones to return.
We literally just cut to later. We just completely gave out on Jesse over here.
She fought well, and she knew of our breed. It is possible that she may be a slayer.
If you hadn't shown up, they would have taken us too. Does anybody mind if I pass out?
Breathe.
Breathe.
Breathe. Couldn't handle it even if they did show up. They'd only come with guns.
You have no idea where they took.
But if we made bullets out of wood, wouldn't that be those propulsion-based stakes? You know, that's like Vampire Slayer tech.
1843, Madrid. He caught me sleeping.
Estaba dormido.
All the city plans are just open to the public.
Well, in a way. I sort of stumbled onto them when I accidentally decrypted the city council's security system.
Oh my god, you're the party's hacker. You're the loser and the slow one, but also the hacker.
That monster Luke came out of nowhere.
Yes.
He didn't come out of nowhere. He came from behind me. I was facing the entrance. He came from behind me and he didn't follow me out.
Clever.
The access to the tunnels is in the mausoleum.
Clever.
The girl must have doubled back with Jesse after I got out. God, I'm so mentally challenged.
That line that she just said, it really felt like Whedon wrote the original version of the line, and then he was like, I can't write this. And he just changed it. Okay, what are we doing? Why are we seeing this scene?
And where do we think we're going?
Here we go.
Nobody leaves campus while school's in session.
Okay.
Are we clear?
We're gonna have to break the
Clear.
rules.
Sensible girl with her feet on the ground.
She's gonna jump the fence. Yeah. That looks so stupid.
Did you get natural disasters?
Earthquake, flood.
Rain of toads.
Right.
Weather report.
Buffy doesn't want you getting hurt. I don't want you getting hurt.
Look, this is just too much. I mean, yesterday my life's like, uh-oh, pop quiz. Today it's rain of toads.
We haven't seen the Rain of Toads yet. I would be down for it.
Nobody knows. It's like we've got this big secret.
We do. That's what a secret is.
I do like this conversation though. That's the guy who wrote this episode.
You've got a key on you.
They really don't like me dropping in.
Yeah, that's the guy who just randomly showed up.
Can you at least tell me your name?
Angel.
Angel.
Okay.
It's a pretty name.
A little bit on the nose.
Tonight is the harvest. Unless you can prevent it, the master walks.
Why don't you stop it?
'Cause I'm afraid.
I need to know what the fuck to do with this guy is.
Do you know what it's like to have a friend?
He said he's a friend of someone previous episode.
You hit the tunnels, head east towards the school. That's where you're likely to find them. Good luck.
The thing about this character is that he doesn't seem antagonistic. He like definitely doesn't, but like he also doesn't seem like a full ally. He literally just showed up to say like, yeah, go there, good luck. That's a big red. That was a big boy. That was a chonker. Something's gonna break the silence.
Xander, what are you doing here?
Something stupid. I followed you.
How did you jump the
I couldn't just
fence?
sit at home and do nothing.
How do you jump the fence?
Gather and be gathered.
What is that transition?
Why was she kicked out?
Because she's a psycho loony.
No, she's not.
What?
Oh, she's gonna defend her
She's
friend.
not a psycho.
Hold up.
Xander. Jesse, man.
He might be a vampire. Yeah, she can just.
Do you think anyone heard that?
But they would know that. I mean, he's bait. But I'm thinking that he might already be a vampire or be turning into one, and then we're gonna have to like kill him or some shit.
I was the bait. Oh, great. Now you tell us.
When else was he gonna tell you?
What do we do?
I mean,
got
we
an
could.
idea.
Yeah.
You can die.
Yeah. Sure. Who could have seen that coming? Yeet.
Help me!
How him helping would help? She has super strength. Why would him helping her would actually make any difference? There we go. Outside. Sunlight. Sunlight. There we go. All right.
There. That wasn't so bad.
Are you gonna kill him?
Hold on.
Yeah. I was about to say, I'm waiting for the scene where he just kills one of his henchmen. Hello, Master. I'm Luke. I'm jacked. I kiss your hand, Master. Yes. I grabbed your hand, Master. I bite. Yes. So what is this supposed to do? He drank blood from Voldemort over here.
My
Okay.
body is your instrument.
Oh, is this like a body possession thing?
Luke is the vessel.
Okay.
Every soul he takes will feed me.
Oh, okay, okay. So it's not a body transfer. He's like his avatar. He's gonna feed for him.
Was he dead?
Worse. I'm sorry, Willow. We were too late. And they were waiting for us.
At least you two are okay.
I don't like vampires. I'm gonna take a stand and say they're not good.
So, Giles, got anything that
We
could
moved
make
on
it
from
worse?
fucking Jesse way too quickly. Willow didn't even say anything about that.
Very old, very powerful vampire came to this shore, not just to feed.
He came
Okay.
because his town's a mystical. Who's it?
Yes.
Sure.
The Spanish who first settled here called it Boca del Infierno.
Hellmouth.
Dimensional portals is a tricky business.
Oh.
Odds are he got himself stuck, rather like a cork in a bottle.
And this harvest thing is to get him out.
comes once in a century, on this night. The minion is called the Vessel.
Okay.
And he bears this symbol.
We know a lot over something that sounds like improvised.
It's happening again, isn't it? I got a call from your new principal. Says you missed some classes today.
I have to go.
No.
Mom?
The tapes all say I should get used to saying it. No. If you don't go out, it'll be the end of the world. Everything is life or death when you're a 16-year-old girl.
Where did she learn about Vampire Slayer if not from Mom? And she knows nothing.
I have to have the most expensive thing. Not because it's expensive, but because it costs more.
You know,
Hello, Miss Motormouth. Can I get a sentence finished?
Oh my
I
god.
love this song. Come on.
It's so like cartoony. Like it's actually the most cartoony show I've seen in a long time. I hope she gets like attacked and then we have to save her and her world changes. Okay, here they come. Here's the gang. This woman looks so happy to be here.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Why the theatrics? All of these people have seen this, by the way. Yes, I feed. It has begun. Well, we're too late to say bounce, Raccoon.
It's locked.
You're too late.
I didn't know I was gonna get grounded.
Can you break it down?
She didn't get grounded. Her mom told her you can't, and then she left a minute later.
You have to remember that when you see him, you're not looking at your friend. You're looking at the thing that killed him.
That's cool. I like that. I like that way of looking at it.
Give me more!
When I'm at a restaurant and I want more breadsticks.
I feel the master's strength growing.
Is that what we call it today?
I feel him rising.
Here's a pretty one.
Oh, we're gonna save her. Dead.
Okay, Vessel Boy.
The backward spinning roundhouse kick that somehow worked, even though he saw it coming because it took like 2 seconds. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Heads up.
That's so dumb! Willow. Oh!
Get off of it!
Do it. Do it, girl. Burn! Burn, bitch! Burn!
All right. Put me out of my misery.
He's actually...
You don't have the gun.
That was like actually dead ass really funny.
There's something you forgot about too. Sunrise.
What time is it?
It's in about 9 hours, moron.
Yeah. Okay. I was wondering, like, I don't think it was the morning time. But that was the trick. That was the mind game. The vessel's dead. Big boy out. Alright, goodbye, Luke. You won't miss. Cool intro shot. Oh my god, they saw her and they were like, let's get the fuck out of here. What's up, mystery man?
She did it.
Watch your step. Yo, what's up? That's a W.
Take it, it's over.
Yeah, some people died, but you know.
I heard it was rival gangs, you know, fighting for turf. But all I can tell you is they were an ugly way of looking. And Buffy, knew them, which is just too weird.
Oh my
I
god.
don't even remember that much, but I'm telling you, it was a freak show.
Oh my god, of course. Of course.
People have a tendency to rationalize what they can and forget what they can't.
More vampires?
Not just vampires. The next threat we face may be something quite different.
I can hardly wait.
Oh my
You're at the center
god.
of a mystical convergence here.
This is such a 90s show.
I was thinking of a more subtle approach, you know, like excessive, not
It's
subtle.
like, yes. The
Death
youth
is
of the
doomed.
dead. Yes. I'm actually down for whatever that says. Alright, that episode was really fun. Like it felt like you're supposed to watch episode 1 and 2 like together, you know? It feels like episode 1 and 2 are really like the intro of the show, you know? Because episode 1 kind of ended at a weird spot, and episode 2 really feels like, alright, this was a good conclusion to this like initial like mini arc that sets up what's about to happen later, you know? We learn lore, we lost Jimmy, Jesse, whatever. We lost that guy, the guy who looked like he was gonna die for this episode. Like from the first scene he showed up in, I was like, he's the one that dies. and then he died. What's funny is that he died in like the funniest way possible, which is Sander stepped in front of him and he was putting the stake through his heart and don't make me do it, man. And fucking Jesse is like, all right, do it. Put me on my misery. I know you're not gonna do it, bitch. You're not gonna do it. He was right. He didn't do it. Someone just fucking ran into him and pushed him into the stake and he just died. And that's like, you know, you can look at it from like a character perspective of like Sander couldn't do it, you know, like he couldn't kill his friend. That speaks volumes of his character. But I'm just like, Lamau, someone just ran into him and he just fucking died like an idiot. Because why would he put the stake to his heart and be like, yeah, do it. You're not going to do it. You're not going to do it. And then he just fucking dies. You know, just like it reminds me of that fucking meme picture that is just like, what are you going to do? Stab me? Says man who was stabbed. Except he didn't get, he got pushed into the knife, which is so dumb. All right. So yeah, sure. That happened. That was a funny way to go. Like, I'll give him that. Like, this show is like so stupid and ridiculous and funny in like all of the ways that it wasn't meant to be. Sometimes I actually start laughing because it's like way too much. I don't want to bring the one that shall not be named into this, but you know, like I watched the first Avengers movie. I thought the first Avengers movie was kind of okay. I watched the second Avengers movie. I thought it was shit. And, you know, I got a feeling for what this man's writing style is. I think if you see one thing that he's done, you've seen everything. Because, like, the way people talk is not the way people talk. It's the way cool kids in the 90s talk. Like, they talk in taglines. That's what they do. It's not funny in a clever way. It's funny in a ridiculous way. Because it's like, what the fuck is this? Someone wrote this and someone thought that this was good. And like, sorry, like I said for this episode, I don't want to trash on the show. Because I actually do kind of enjoy it. But I don't mind trashing on whatever the fuck he did. Because fuck that guy. There was one moment when Buffy said, I'm so mentally challenged. And I'm like, that sounded weird. Like, and like, I can't stop thinking about like, he wrote the R word. And then he was either like, I can't write this on television. Or someone at the broadcasting company read that and they were like, you can't say this. And then he was like, oh, I guess I'll say mentally challenged. And I'm like 95% sure that was the original version of the script. I'm like so sure that that's what actually was written before a revision came. And then he was like forced to change it. Let's try not to get into the mind of this man. Let's actually talk about the show. Okay, focus. Okay, we got exposed to the lore. And the lore says that actually the Earth is really old. Like, he said like the librarian dude. I don't know his name. Sorry, the librarian. The Earth is like older than you think. And I'm just like, I'm pretty sure the Earth is pretty old. But like older than like how old is the Earth? Like, I don't know, like a billion years? Like, yeah, the Earth is about 4.5 billion years old. What do you mean older than that? If it's older than 4.5 billion years, that doesn't matter. I feel like after a certain point, the number is so big that you just kind of like don't care anymore. If I told you the Earth is a billion years old and then go like, actually it's 4 billion years old, like that almost doesn't matter. Both numbers are big. Like, sure. Man, I really got sidetracked. I don't know what the fuck I was talking about. Okay, so we got exposed to the fact that demons walk the earth, and then eventually animals outgrew them, and then demons were fucking disappeared. And I think they said that the demons were like cast out or something like that. No, I think it was like the last remaining demon. He bit a human. So demons have been around at least since like an era where humans were around. So until very recently. And then they started biting from one to the other. And they just created a bunch of vampires. Which just brings us to this day. And so, okay, we know that. We also see Lord Voldemort over here, the Dark Lord, whatever, the Master. Yeah, they call him the Master. They say, like, yes, the harvest for the Master. And I'm just like, I'm pretty sure this is a Doctor Who episode. He is trapped underground, which apparently is because they tried to, like, open a portal to hell or some shit, like 60 years ago. And that created an earthquake that just fucking buried everything. Sure, but why is he locked underground? Like, that's a good question. Because you can go from the underground to upside. So, like, he's locked in the underground for some other reason. And I'm not sure if they mentioned it. I just wasn't paying attention because I do that sometimes. So he used a vessel, which was Luke. I still think that's, like, a funny name. Because that guy didn't look like a Luke. He looked like an Igor, you know? Not Luke. He used that dude as a vessel, which essentially means that whatever Luke fed on would feed the Master, sure. And then they proceeded to feed on a bunch of people at this club. And like, okay, here's the thing, is that fucking the bully girl, whatever her name is, the bad girl, the bully girl, the one that's an asshole. So she saw all of this happen. The thing is that she legitimately saw people getting murdered. Like, straight up, she saw people getting murdered. And after that, you would see, like, a news article of, like, 20 people found dead at this club. Nobody knows what the fuck happened. And there's also, like, so many, like, yeah, there's so many witnesses about what happened. Because so many people survived. So many people saw this shit go down. And they were like, holy fuck. Demons just started showing up and eating people, you know? Even then, this girl is just looking at all of this that happened, you know? She saw all of this with her own eyes. She heard people talk about it. And then, like, there is the new article of people just dead. And so the fact that she's literally just like, yeah, I don't know what happened. What the fuck? LaMau. It's like, what? Girl, fucking what? And like the fact that they say something like, people only remember what they understand, and what they don't understand, they like completely just forget and dismiss. It's the idea that like something you don't understand, you just don't see, you know, just don't retain. It's just like, I don't know what the fuck that was. Anyway, I'm gonna try to make things make sense according to my tiny understanding of what things are, which to a degree makes sense, you know, because that does make sense. That is a thing that happens, but not to this level. To this level is cartoony. Like, it's the fact that she saw people die. There's reports about people dead. She saw them do it. And then she's like, yeah, I don't know what that was. Anyway, that girl's weird. It's like, oh my God. Like, I understand you're again, I said this previous episode, but like, this show is like almost like too cartoony and everyone's so fucking dumb. But then I have to remind myself that everyone's 16. So like, it sort of makes sense in that aspect, you know? Like, I wonder, like, how different would it be if I watched the show when I was this age? Would I just accept everything everyone says? And maybe not think too hard about it? Because, like, that's also the thing, is that because I do these videos, I have to think about what they say. So if I was just passively consuming media, I wouldn't think too hard about it. But because I have to do these videos, characters say lines, and I'm just like, what the fuck was that? I want to talk about this. There's so many lines that are, like, really on the nose. They're not cool. They're supposed to be cool, but they're not. Like, for example, when the principal said, like, that's Buffy Summers, I think that's the Buffy Summers I want. She's just a normal girl. She keeps her feet on the ground, and I'm like, she's gonna jump. And then they show the camera shot of her feet, and she goes like, I just started losing it, man. That was like, I knew that was gonna happen, but the way they shot it, it's even dumber. And there's a lot of things that happen like this. It feels like every line or scene has to have like a punchline of sorts, you know, something that hits you, which in a way can be good because it adds more to these characters, you know, it makes them like quirky and shit, you know, and that can be good, but it can also be detrimental. I said this previous episode, and someone that actually enjoys like trash, you know, give me all the trash. I love trash media and I love having fun. And this show, oh boy. So at the very beginning, we just see Buffy immediately free herself from the struggle that shows in previous episode. Then they consult the librarian, and we clearly established like our main cast. We see the main cast. We see like the hangout spot, which is essentially we go to a library, talk to a librarian, and everyone gets exposited on what's happening. Like we got exposited the plot, we got exposited the lore, the background, what's going on. And so Sander and Willow are brought up to speed. They know that Buffy is a vampire slayer. They know that there are vampires, and that's what they were attacked. And they know that Jesse got taken, and I'm just like, fucking Jesse's gone, man. Like, I never thought he was gonna live. I suppose him being turned into a vampire is better than him just dying, because it creates a little more tension, more important. But I still called it. And it still didn't do much, because like even when they met him, I was like, he might be a vampire. And then when he was saying like, oh, maybe this way, I think they brought me through here maybe. And then he was like, oh, this way, maybe I think they brought me through here. I'm just like, he might be leading them into a trap. He's already a vampire. And then they show it, and it's like, oh my god, this is a vampire. And I'm just like, yes. Moving on. What do now? Oh god, there was that scene. I think this might be like a legitimate plot hole. It doesn't matter, but it is something I will point out anyway. And it's the fact that like Buffy was like struggling to close the door, and then she was like, yo, help me out. And then Sander came and helped her, and then they closed the door, no problem. And I'm just like, isn't Buffy supposed to be like super powered? Isn't Buffy supposed to be like 50 Sanders? Why would Sander helping matter? Like, straight up. We see so many scenes of Buffy just breaking shit. She broke the, like, metal chains that, fucking, what's his name? Fucking Jesse. I'm gonna call him Jimmy because it's funny. Fucking Jimmy was, like, logged with this, like, metal, like, chain to his leg. And she just, like, broke it. There are scenes when she just breaks wood. In the first episode, I think she just breaks the door. It's like, she's clearly superpowered. She jumped like several meters into the air and then went to the other side. And she didn't levitate. That was all propulsion from strength. So why the fuck did she need Sander to help her close the door? I'm sorry, that sounds like they wrote that and they didn't think too hard about that. And then maybe they realized later and they were like, well, shit, we already like staged the scene. The scene has to flow in this manner. So I guess we're just going to hope people don't notice. Anyway, moving on. That's just like tiny detail, but I'm going to mention it anyway. Jesse's so funny to me because I saw him and I was like, he's the one that doesn't matter. He's the one that dies. And they're going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe they killed Jesse. How dare they do my boy Jesse like that? They're like, every character in the show is going to act like that, but we don't feel that because we literally just saw him for like 2 scenes. Like previous episode, like we spent time with Sander, we spent time with Willow, and then this guy shows up and he's like, yeah, I'm their friend. I'm the 4th member of the gang. And I'm just like, you're not. We didn't spend any time with you and you just show up pretending to be part of the gang. So I'm just gonna say it. I'm sorry, you're gonna die. Then when he like actually turns into a vampire, like they go back and they talk to Willow and she was like, did you find Jesse? And they were like, yeah. And she was like, is he dead? And they were like, worse. And then he was like, well, at least you're okay. And I'm just like, is that a reaction for your friend? Like, you're trying to sell me on the idea that guy was your friend, and then you're just like moving on immediately, like he didn't matter. And that goes for Willow, and that goes to for Sander a little bit. Sander had a little bit more because he at least had those scenes at the end when he was like, don't make me do this, man. Like, I know a part of you is still in there, like he was doing that like classic just like dilemma of like, should I shoot my friend who's now a zombie? That's essentially what he was doing, just like a more fucked up version of it. But like, even then I didn't feel like they made it, like they tried to make it a big deal, but it wasn't. More than, because like the episode was trying to juggle the idea of like, oh my God, I lost my friend who is my friend and I love him, but also trying to juggle, this is the introduction episode, you're learning about all these crazy things that are happening in the world, you're doing research, you're learning lore, and it's just like, you can't have both. They tried to have both and it ended up like failing a little bit. because a lot of the time was spent in exposition and characters reacting to their new life and understanding, because I appreciate this one scene, because there was a scene with Willow and Xander when they were in the hallway about to go to class, and they're talking about how like there is like a secret that they know now. Like everyone thinks for them life is normal right now, but for us it isn't, because we know more and things are not the same anymore. And I do like that scene, because I feel like oftentimes we don't get a scene like that, I was fully expecting the characters to just like move on and be like, oh man, I'm part of this crazy shit now. But like, no, actually having a scene reflecting onto reality and how it contrasts your daily life and everyone else around you. I think that's a good scene. I like that scene. We didn't have a scene like that for Xander, is what I'm saying. If they had a scene like that, and like that's the thing, is that like, again, you can juggle both of those things in this episode, because they had a scene in the hallway talking about how crazy things are, but that scene should have been a scene where they talk about fucking Jesse, I think it's meant to call him Xander earlier. Jesse. So they should have been talking about Jesse, and it's like, oh my god, I'm so worried about Jesse, man. We need to go and save him. And they did mention him a little bit, but that wasn't the main point of the conversation, At least I think they mentioned them. I don't even know. That's how irrelevant it was. Jesse should have been more relevant if they're trying to sell me on the idea that they care. They didn't sell me on the idea that they care, And that's what's funny about Jesse. The fact that I could tell from like the moment he showed up, this is the guy who's going to die. And then he immediately died. And I'm just like, there we go. Like that is a little bit funny to me. I don't know how much of this I can chalk to the show being like this or just the 90s being like this, because I feel like a lot of scenes I'm looking at it and I'm like, this is so 90s. And that's not the show's fault. That's just the 90s. It's 90s is America, and I'm just like, sure, man. Like, I just remember something. Okay, so I know where I recognize the actor from now. So this guy, the guy, we got introduced to Angel. He actually mentioned his name now. His actor is David Boreanaz, or however you pronounce his name. And he is one of the main characters in the show Bones, which I watched a little bit of when it was on TV. I just happened to run into it sometimes. I didn't actually watch it properly, but that's where I recognize him from. So let's talk about this guy, Angel. We finally learned his name. We know what, like, I was about to say we know what his deal is. We don't. Like, he's a mysterious character. He's a mysterious bad boy that we'll see what the fuck his deal is. Because the thing about him is that like previous episode, I completely forgot he showed up. Like when I was talking about previous episode, I didn't mention him at all. Like, and honestly, I'm not even gonna lie. In episode 1, I wasn't fully certain if he was Xander or not. Just like, I just saw generic white boy. And then I was like, is this the same? No, it's not. But I had a moment where I had to like realize whether or not he was the same person or not. But sure, this guy, Angel, he seems like an ally, but not directly. Like, he seems like he wants them to win. Like, he wants Buffy to succeed. He wants the vampires to lose, maybe. I don't know what exactly his motivations or allegiances are. But, like, that's the weird part, is that, like, what is his deal? And, like, that's the thing, is that I know basically nothing that could hit me into a direction about what his deal might be. I could say that his name being Angel might mean that he's either literally an angel or like a holy entity or something like that. That's why when I heard his name, I was like, that's on the nose, because I can see him being written as like, I'm an angel and my name is Angel, or something like I don't have a name. So when people ask me, I just say I'm Angel, because that's what I am. I'm Angel. I can see that being something that the show does. That would be kind of funny. So maybe he's like a holy entity, because that's the thing, is that like if vampires are demons and demons are a thing, maybe angels are a thing, holy entities are a thing. So maybe that's what he is. He could be something like that, because he seems to be, he's a third party that roots for the good guys to win, but he's not actively participating, at least not that we know of. So I don't know what his deal is, and that's all I can say, really, because like that's it. We got no more information. That's all. There was that scene when they were programming in the computer class, And then Willow just said, like, press the deliver button. And she was like, oh, deliver. And she just pressed the delete button. I don't know if that's how the software would work. I suppose it's 97, so it could be like that. I don't know. I didn't program anything given by the version that I was 1 year old in 1997. That was cool. Willow just kind of fucked them over for a second, and I'm like, cool. Okay, we learned something about Willow. It's that she's not only the loser. She's not only the slow one. She's not only stupid and pure and kind. She's also the hacker, and she's also big brain. I mean, that's the thing. It's that you can see that she's a nerd. She has a lot of knowledge, you know? So she's book smart. She seems not smart in any other aspect, but the fact that she's actually the smart hacker, I'm just like, okay, that was a weird turn I wasn't expecting, but sure, you know? Sure. I actually kind of dig it, you know? It gives her more to do. So that's kind of fun. So we have the designated 90s hacker. It's funny because we have the mentor figure, the one who divines plot. He's like, I read in this sacred texts that this is the way the plot is going to go. You should get prepared. Buffy's like, got it. And they're like, okay, but we need to know where to go. And Willow is like, I know, got it. And then Buffy is like, all right, I'm going to do some shit. And Sandra is like, oh, I want to help too. I want to do some shit too. And she's like, all right, no. And then he's like, I'm going to do it anyway. And then I feel like that's a group dynamic. I mean, this is only episode 2, but that's the group dynamic so far. We got the librarian, he divines plot. We got Willow, she facilitates anything that is related to technology. And Sanders just kind of there. Sure. I hope Sanders not a love interest. I hope that that's not the case. I really hope that that's not the case. Let's talk about the mom. Buffy's mom. I don't know what the fuck is going on there. Because Buffy's mom clearly doesn't know that she's a vampire slayer. Why doesn't she know? Like, that's the thing. How does Buffy know that she's a vampire slayer? How did Buffy learn this? If it wasn't from her mom, or if her mom wasn't there, you know? Like, how did she learn this? Did she learn everything to like a holy vision that came into her dreams? Or maybe her dad? Like, I theorized previous episodes, like maybe her aunt from her dad's side was a vampire slayer. And then somehow it passed down from the dad. And, no. It's not necessarily a linear aspect. But how did she learn then? How did she know how to be a vampire slayer? Like, that's a good question. I need to know that. Like, because the fact that the mom, like, doesn't know anything, I'm just like she should. Like, I just hope, like, I think the show would be a lot cooler if she did know that, you know? I suppose it wouldn't resonate so much with teenagers if she knew, you know? Because, like, a lot of what Buffy is, and what I assume the reason why people like Buffy, is because people can resonate with a lot of these things because they watched it when they were younger. I don't. But I can imagine the idea of, like, my mom is grounding me. I have something I have to do, but I have an authority figure to tell me not to do it, but I have to do it. It's really important, and they just don't understand, man. Like, that can be something that resonates with younger people, and I can see that being a thing with the show. But I just think it would be a lot cooler if Buffy's mom was an ex-vampire slayer, and she was an old badass woman, you know? She had, like, an eye patch. She was like, back in my day, all the shit that I did, you know? Oh, that would be so cool. That would be so cool. That would be such a cool character. But, like, sure. Speaking of, there was that scene. Another scene that I'm just going to harp on. Because, like, they go to the club and they're like, oh my god, we're late. And Buffy's like, it's not my fault that I got grounded. And I'm like, you didn't, though. I mean, you kind of did, but not really. Like, literally, I remember the scene. You were about to go out, and then your mom was like, don't. And then you were like, but I have to. And she was like, don't. And then she left. And then you snuck out the window. That delayed you for a minute. Like, that didn't delay you at all. That was literally just a minute, and it was mostly just a conversation. Because you immediately run away. You immediately escaped through the window. Like, girl, you didn't get grounded. Like, that didn't make any sense. I'm sorry. Anyway, she took down Luke, the Dark Lord or whatever. Doesn't have anyone anymore. Okay, one of the vampires survived. One of the important vampires survived. You know, there was more than one that survived, but they were just jobbers. The one that did survive that matters is the woman, the blonde woman from the very, very beginning of the first episode. She's living. they threw like holy water on her. Good on Willow. Willow made a cool move. Good for her. But like, yeah, like she ran away. She might be like burned and scarred. That would be cool for if characters had like permanent damage. But she ran away, so I'm guessing that she's gonna come back, and she's gonna be, because that's the thing, is that if you're gonna have scenes with the Master, the Dark Lord, whatever, like he has to talk to someone. So there needs to be at least 2 bad guys. So yes, she lives because he needs someone to talk to. And that's about it. There's nothing else I can say about that. Angel was standing in front of a sign that said, "Watch your step," which I'm trying to think if that's supposed to be a hint as to what his deal is in any manner. But I don't know. Nothing comes to mind. But that's the kind of shit that the show would do, you know? Just like I'm standing in front of a sign that gives a crucial detail about my character, and I'm just going to see something cool, and I'm going to walk away, and you're going to get to see the words behind me, and you're going to be like, oh, that's what that meant, you know? Like, that kind of shit. Okay, here's what I don't understand, because I, like, watch that scene a little bit, and it's the fact that they're talking about this, the Dark Lord tried to open a portal or some shit 60 years ago, and it didn't work, and he got himself trapped, and it's like, okay, first, how did he get himself trapped underground? Why can he not leave? It has to be some kind of like a magical seal or something like that. It can't just be like he got trapped underground, because other people can leave. So I don't know how that works. I mentioned that already, and then they go like, okay, this is what this harvest says. Every 100 years, the Master grabs a vessel, carves the sign, and then the vessel would feed for the Master, and then the Master will come back. And it's like, didn't we just establish that 60 years ago he got trapped on the ground? Why would there be like a prophecy of him coming back every 100 years through this? Like, the harvest seems like, it doesn't sound like a legendary event. It sounds like a situational event out of necessity because I need to get the fuck out of here. So why would they know about it? Why would there be writing stuff like, oh yes, this guy who got himself trapped 60 years ago, every 100 years, he summons this vessel so he can come back and free him up? Like, that doesn't make much sense. I feel like I misunderstood something here. I must have. Odds are he got himself stuck like a cork in a bottle, and this harvesting is to get him out. It comes once in a century, on this night. Once every century, it is prophesied that he will get a vessel to go and feed on the harvest night in order to free him from the place he got locked up in 60 years ago. Sure. Like, what? Okay, I feel like this is gonna be developed later. I feel like this makes no sense based on what they tell me just now, and they have to like develop it further later. You know, like it's gonna be more complicated than I think it is. So yeah, sure. Otherwise, that just sounds silly because it makes 0 sense. So sure. I think that's the final thing I want to point out. I mean, everything is ridiculous. Everything's kind of funny. Fucking Jimmy died. Yeah, sure. I think that's pretty much it. And, you know, the final scene when the entire cast is walking together and they're talking about dumb shit, and then everyone is like, "Oh my god, teenagers!" You know, it's like this show gives me Power Ranger vibes, man. I've said it before, but like this show is just Power Rangers with extra steps. It's just Vampire Rangers. That's what this show is. This show being compared to Power Rangers is a good thing, by the way, because I quite like Power Rangers. Power Rangers slaps. Anyway, I think that's going to be it for this reaction episode to Buffy. Thank you so much for being here. And okay, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in for this reaction episode to Buffy. If you would like to watch the next 2 episode reactions or full-length reactions, you can do so over the Patreon. Check out the link in the description for that, social media, all sorts of cool stuff. Thank you to the people over here, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.